Put him in custody. No! Take him back. Take him in. Take him in. Take him in. Take him in. Step back. Step back. Step back. Step back. You don't have authority to arrest U.S. citizens. Step back. Sir, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. Stay back. Step back, guys. You don't have the, I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway. I asked to see the judicial warrant.
That's New York City mayoral candidate Brad Lander. He's the latest Democrat to be targeted by ICE. The New York City comptroller was arrested and released by ICE at immigration court on Tuesday. He says agents threatened to arrest him if he did not let them detain someone facing immigration issues. Now, that comes a week after California Senator Alex Padilla was dragged out of an LA press conference for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Padilla choked up on the Senate floor yesterday while he was recounting that experience. Let's watch.
I was pushed and pulled, struggled to maintain my balance. I was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest. And as I was handcuffed and marched down a hallway, repeatedly asking, why am I being detained? Not once did they tell me why. I pray you never have a moment like this.
Meanwhile, ICE agents have been ordered to resume workplace raids at hotels, restaurants, and farms. That comes after the Trump administration previously paused those operations. ICE agents also have a strict White House goal to arrest 3,000 migrants per day.
So politicians on social media are bashing the policy reversal. California Governor Gavin Newsom says, looks like Stephen Miller is the boss. After all, Trump got big-footed by his own staff. Pathetic.
On the other hand, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk is in full support of the immigration crackdown. He writes, Trump's handling of the border is one of the greatest accomplishments in modern times. So let's actually start, though, with the Ladner case. I mean, look, he was, I don't love when people obviously get, manhandled by the police or the authorities. I'm a libertarian. But the reporting suggests to me he was obstructing, he was getting in the way of a lawful, proper deportation effort by ICE. These things take place at courthouses for good reason, because that minimizes the risk to anybody else, to violent risk, because when people go into a courthouse, they've already gone through security. I don't want ICE grabbing people off the street, knocking people's doors down in the middle of the night. If we're going to do deportations, this is the way to do it. And it sounds like, based on the reporting, he's entitled to a defense, whatever, that he was trying to get this person, escort this person, kind of like that judge who got into trouble. So I don't know that it was improper. You don't just have the right to do that.
So I took a lot of, let's call it stuff, because we're on TV, last week. Because with the Padilla thing, I was like, well, neither side strikes me as totally blameless. The left was like, this is an authoritarian state, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, I'm not defending. They could have de-escalated this once they realized he was a senator. I mean, honestly, once they realized he was a citizen, but they could have de-escalated it once they realized he wasn't an active threat.
Right.
At the same time,
you can't just go up to a cabinet official.
He heard there was this briefing, and again, it wasn't a press conference. People were not asking questions.
Right.
She was briefing. He goes in, and he just interrupts her and starts talking. So my point is, like, he meant it to be provocative.
1,000%.
He meant it to create a stir. Now, did he want to be cuffed and put on the ground? No. Was that appropriate? I would argue no, once it had been ascertained that he wasn't an active threat.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way. So this guy knew that this Lander guy who's running for, by the way, important context, he is running behind Zoran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo in the Democratic primary for governor.
Yes.
For New York City mayor next week. Okay. He goes in knowing that this guy is someone who they're trying to get, with his arm linked with him. It's not like he's just, I can't believe this is happening. I mean, that is an outcome that could happen when you do this.
Right. It seems difficult to reach any conclusion other than it was an orchestrated political stunt for that reason. And I feel the same way a little bit in the senator's case, that, if you try to walk up to a cabinet official mid-speech, I don't think senators should have, political figures have more rights than U.S. citizens.
No.
Anyone who tries to do
Same
that
right.
is gonna get dragged away. I didn't like how aggressive it was either,
Right.
because I just don't like when anybody does that, when law enforcement does that in general. But that's what's going to happen. You didn't have the right to just interrupt her. Ladner doesn't have the right to just exempt this guy through whatever immigration process was about to take place, nor did that one judge who was like, no, sneak out this way.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I'm sorry, you just can't.
It bugs me that we've reached a place politically where it's like Padilla or Ladner or whoever, it's like, it's either this is the authoritarian police state or this is an innocent man being victimized. Like,
Right.
it can't be both. Like, it's either the cops are doing their job and this guy's fighting, or the cops are the worst. It's like,
Right.
well, this guy's running for mayor. This is something that will get him attention and presumably, like, might not hurt him in that primary, right? Did you know? I mean, I will admit, I did not know his name prior to the last 24 hours. I know he's the comptroller of New York, which I'm not, but, like, I knew Andrew Cuomo's name and Zoran Mamdani's name because those are the two who are most likely to win. So it's like, don't politicians do political
There's one
things?
called Whitney and Ladner. I think I can name.
That's a
I
law
can name
firm.
4 of them.
That's a law firm. That's totally different.
No, I think there's one called. Well, I'm not a New York citizen, so I don't. I don't have
me
to rank
neither.
these people.
Yeah, but my point is like politicians do political things. Brad Lander, I'm not saying he should be. I want to disagree with you more, but I think we're in the same boat, which is like
we'll get to something today we disagree on. I hope.
You shouldn't treat him roughly, but he's not doing it for purely altruistic reasons. It's the same thing with Padilla. I don't understand why we can't say like, okay, yeah, that makes common sense.
File an injunction. File a court proceeding if the detention is wrongful, and maybe you'll win. The courts are pushing back on plenty of things Trump is doing with respect to immigration. That's the way to do it. Actually, trying to obstruct the officials with your own body is a stunt.
I wonder if I may be a libertarian.
Oh, oh boy.
Conversion.
Coming up, Ilhan Omar says the United States is being turned into one of the worst countries. More on that next.